Hi and welcome to this week's episode of Split the E podcast. I'm your host Sean O'Grady. In this podcast we take artists and entertainers out for a Guinness in my local pub and we discuss how it all began. This week's guest is Josephine.
Hi.
How are you, Josephine?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So you're a singer, songwriter, performer. You're part of Loaded Roxy
Yes.
house band.
The Roxy house band, yes.
Where did it all begin for you?
Well, I didn't start in the Roxy, obviously. That'd be a pretty insane starting point. I have been singing my entire life. I can't even remember a time I wasn't singing.
I think in your Spotify bio,
Yes.
you were like, this is like, it wasn't even a dream. This had to happen.
Yeah. No, I still remember even being like in kindergarten and having, when you're just like, you don't know you're good at something because you're a kid.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You just don't. Yeah. You're just doing shit.
It's like
and then you find out what you're good at just through trial and error almost.
Yeah.
But I still remember being like in kindergarten, not understanding what being good at singing is or whatever, just doing it because I liked it and it felt good. And my teacher would make me do it all the time. And I remember thinking like, why is she making me do this all the time kind of thing? And they would ask me to do all like little tiny plays and stuff. And eventually I just realized I must be decent at this because they keep making me do it over and over again. And I
Did you grow to love it?
I loved it instantaneously. My family's very musical. My granddad was a beautiful singer growing up, like such a crooner style, like just beautiful voice. And so I grew up listening to him and like plays the guitar as well. And like my mom's not necessarily in music, but like my mom can sing. Like my dad was musically inclined. My sister, now she's also in music and acting. My brother's in music production. Like we just have a very musical family. Yeah. So it just kind of came by me, honestly, I would say. The big personality and the performance part of it is more me. That's my own thing.
That makes you different from your family.
Yeah. I've just been singing for as long as I remember. I started in musical theater.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, this is the drama geek in me.
Is that like speech and drama?
Well, it's like I started just doing acting just because I was really like outgoing and like theatrical and like, bah. Yeah. So my mom was like, we're going to put you in acting, channel this crazy energy into something.
ADHD.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I started in acting, and then obviously with this singing, I just sang everything. I was always singing just because it just poured out of me. Like I couldn't even, when it's just part of you.
Yeah.
And so I kept studying musical theater. I will say that was, in my opinion, I loved starting musical theater.
At what age were you doing musical theater?
I would say I started doing musical theater properly when I was like 12 or 13.
Okay, cool.
But I was like singing, obviously, any chance I got my entire childhood. Like I would do talent shows. I would do any chance I could get to sing somewhere. I would. I was still so nervous of it back then. Like stage fright was a real thing, but that's just because I was like a preteen and like you can get stage fright doing anything at that age.
Yeah.
That has faded now. The hours upon hours of performing, it does fade. You do become like, there's certain gigs that can get you, but like majority of the time you're like, okay, let's just another gig, let's go. But I started when I was 12, 13 and then that really got the ball rolling. I fell in love with singing. I fell in love with musical theater style singing as well. It's such a pretty way to sing. It feels really nice. And it's...
Do you know what's big in Ireland is pantos? Is there pantos here? Do you know
what does that even mean?
Panto's kind of like theater, but then they actually get the audience involved. It's like, oh no, he
didn't. Like improv.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, I definitely did improv stuff. Like I did honestly anything performance styling. Like I've done voiceover work, I've done plays, I've done improv, I've done drama class. Like I've done anything arts oriented with performance styling. I love it. It's definitely what I've made for. I don't think that, like as you said, I did say I don't think I'm not capable. My body and mind doesn't want to do anything else, and I don't. Even in high school, like I remember being in high school and just either wanting to be in like the arts classes I was in, or just thinking like this place is holding me back. I don't even know why I'm here. Like academics just was not something that I could have thrived in. I didn't want to. I didn't want to thrive in it. It didn't pull me in. It didn't draw me in. But anytime I was in some sort of like arts class, like specifically performance of like singing or acting, or it felt completely right, like puzzle pieces aligning, like where I'm supposed to be.
It's like getting into like that flow state.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. And performance is definitely just, I love the connection of an audience to performer. Like that for me is one of the biggest parts of why I love my job. Of course, like the creation of your own art is a wonderful part of it as well.
And it's also a very, just by yourself.
Yeah,
But then
it's
when you
more
get to-
intimate
Yes.
thing, part of it. But when you have like a good crowd in front of you, and like you can tell like, oh, we're linked up, and like and the song is going, and then you're like, if I say jump, they're gonna jump, and you know, and then you're like, I'm God. Like it's just, there's those moments that are just like, and knowing that you're watching these people like laughing and singing the song and dancing and screaming, and that you are creating that environment for them, and you're bringing that joy to these people. There's like literally hands down no better feeling for me. It really like that. Like, it's like an adrenaline for me.
Oh,
it's
big
definitely
time.
a drug.
Big time.
Yeah.
When you you touched on like young age, you picked up the guitar. Was that your first instrument?
Piano was my first instrument.
Really? Yeah.
I really I need to start playing it more again. It's one of those things where like I'm just always doing so much other music stuff that like I don't prioritize my practice time.
Yeah.
But I would really like to get back into piano a bit more. I can play on the guitar and piano, but like I'm nowhere near the level I used to be able to when like your mom is making you practice.
Yeah.
Now I'm like an adult out in the real world, and I'm like, I can do it later, and I don't do it enough. But I really do want to get. It's actually one of my bucket list things right now is get better at it again, which I
You
really
have a
should.
bucket list. How long is your bucket list?
Oh, way longer than I'd like.
Yeah.
Way longer than I'd like. There's so much to do. No time. So much to do.
I know. Always. So then, you said you were born in England?
No, my parents are both born there. And then I'm the first person in my family to be born.
Born here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my brother and sister and I are actually like first generation, and both my parents' side of the families to be born here. My whole family's over there, other than immediate family here. And so
When you
we've
were
been there a lot.
growing up, then did you get like the English artist, the influences from your father?
Oh, for sure. My dad, I definitely listened to a lot more British artists initially. My dad was very influenced by British music, 100%. Could I think of those right now on the spot? No. But like definitely when there's times that even like Dan puts music on. But Dan's my current boyfriend. He's from the UK as well. Nice. And I'll be like, why have I heard this? Like, why do I know this? And then then he'll be like, they're from here, and I'll be like, oh my God, that's why. Because like I definitely have had like very British influence. I didn't even realize my grandparents, their family had accents until someone told me.
Oh, no way.
Like, you know when someone's like, oh, they have an accent, you're like, no, they don't.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, they do. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's sure.
I remember I have a current job, but when I moved over first, my very first job, I was working and there was a girl working there and she was like, oh, I really love your accent. And I was like, oh, I like yours too. She's like, I don't have an accent.
Yeah, and that's just because you're
like,
here.
Yeah, exactly.
That's because you're among your kind.
Exactly. Yeah, for fuck's sake.
You do have an accent.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah, all technically do.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Even though Vancouver definitely has, like, we sound more American up in Vancouver, I feel like. Because we don't really have a full-on Canadian accent.
No, but you have the sorries.
Unlike, I feel like...
Sure, but for sure.
For sure. Like, everyone's always like, for sure, bud.
Yeah. Drink a Molson, smoke a dart, go for a rip
get dart. Oh, God. There's definitely Canadian words. But I feel like I put it on more because I don't actually talk that way. No. But then like when someone talks to me, I'm like, oh, for sure, bud.
Yeah,
like, I don't actually talk that way, but like I'll just like put it on. Be like, I'm extra Canadian in this moment. Right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting worse as I'm here 9 years and definitely coming out with Canadian words way more.
Dan's only been here for a year and a half, and he'll now and then say something like, oh, the Canadians rubbing off on you.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely it's a fun way to speak when you're trying to joke around.
So so you picked up the guitar, and then when did you finally think like this is 100%? I'm going to devote my time and energy in this, and I'm going to start writing songs.
Much later than I would like.
Oh no way.
It's so funny. Imposter syndrome is such a thing.
Oh,
and I didn't even really know what that was until you're an adult and someone says that and explains it to you and you're like, oh yeah, I have that. Like, I was in musical theater for a long time, as I said, and I really enjoyed that. And I just didn't really, I knew I had it in me to pursue this, but there was just, and I would even watch people do gigs. Like I would go to shows and I'd be like, I can do better than that. Like, you know, in your head when you're watching someone, you're like, I know I can do better than that. I know that I could do this. Just even watching.
Where do you think that power of like the belief and the drive that was in
I
you?
live in Lululand most of my life.
Yeah.
That's like honestly half the things I do is because I'm like I'm gonna be super famous and wealthy one day. That's just I'd rather live in Delulu.
Yeah.
My mom also is like my mom is an amazing woman. She is probably like, and I know everyone says their mom's the best, but
Yeah.
like she really just raised us and instilling confidence in us and just telling us that self-talk really mattered and how you speak to yourself really matters and what you tell yourself and like really ultimately our words are spells. What you put out there
Ooh,
is
I
what
like that.
casts over your life and you
Yeah.
create your own life with what you speak. And like,
That's
I do
massive.
genuinely believe that.
Yeah.
Because even when times I'm in my little negative spouts, nothing positive is happening in those times. You know, nothing
Yes.
I want comes from those times when I'm in my little grump mode. You know what I mean? It's when you actually start to speak the things you want, and they may not happen right away, but like the more you keep at it, the more you talk about it, the more you will embody that.
100%.
And
to make a negative, from a negative to a positive.
yeah, and honestly, to even look at like one of the biggest things I do is I really try to take, because I put myself out there. This job makes you put yourself out there a lot. Like
big
even
time.
on the days like you can like those days you're just like I could stay in bed all day. Like I'm just not happy. I'm sad. I'm not feeling my feels today. But I gotta go sing in front of hundreds of people right now.
Yeah. I want to take a me day, but I
Yeah,
can't.
but I can't. I'm gonna go stand in a light in front of a lot of people and just dance around.
Yeah.
Like so it's like you don't really have like that self-talk is so important for me at least.
I can imagine, even if you did feel like down or whatever, but then afterwards, even if the show was half decent, you still feel like
never is. I'm there for 20 minutes and I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
Like it's like you do me like a couple songs under my belt and I'm like, hey, we're in it now. But like it's like when like you're getting ready for work and you're like, I don't want to go.
Oh,
and then you get there and you're like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. This is fine. But, so it is like that. But and I love it. There's nothing I love more than performing. And it's performing specifically. Like I love the entire everything that comes with this job, the writing, the singing, all of it, but performing is like the one thing that just I love it.
Yeah.
Like it's a drug for
That's
me.
the cherry on top.
Oh yeah.
But just before you get there, you like obviously rehearse and you're songwriter as well. I really want to touch into like you've a few songs on Spotify, and where did that all begin? Like the story of.
I mean, obviously you write a lot more songs than you release.
Oh yeah.
That my EP, which is, I have quite a few songs already recorded and ready to release, which I will be releasing very soon as well.
Go listen to Shatter. That's
Thank
blasting
you.
that out for the last few days, and it's really nice.
Appreciate that. It's really sweet. So I made that EP during COVID, actually.
Yeah, 2023 you released it, right?
I've been releasing the songs like slowly, just because like obviously like budget of life.
Yeah.
It costs money to release music.
Of course.
And honestly, as much as I do gig a lot, like there's a lot of artists in Vancouver who like dedicate their time to their original projects, which is I more than appreciate, and I wish I had all the time in the world for that. But because I am also a working musician, a lot of times, sometimes I'm just too tired vocally to even record the music I want for myself.
I was wanted to ask you.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's such a double-edged sword because I'm obsessed with doing it and I love it. And even when I take weekends off for vocal rest, I'm like itching. Like I'm I wish I was fucking there doing it. Like, I want to be performing, but like I need to rest because it is like the one thing that sucks is my instrument is my body.
Yes.
And it can give out. And
100%.
it does. And
Dude, I went out to a music festival at the weekend and my voice is graggly. Like,
oh yeah, no, I'm honestly, I'm never right now, which I even hate to admit, but right now, I'm never 100% right now because I'm like my falsetto is definitely a little weak at the moment, but it's because I do gig so much. I sing minimum 3 days a week in a very loud environment and performing at the Roxy is a different, like if I just did acoustic gigs all week long, I'd probably have a little bit more strength behind me right now. But
you were saying that you wanted to be getting an intimate audience and having them in your hand like putty.
Oh.
What is the perfect size audience for you? Or does that vary towards gig and what
style? That varies style gig to style music to all that stuff. And I would say if I ever get to like, not ever, when I get to
There's the your mother's
yes, and honestly,
teaching
I'm not gonna
coming
lie,
out.
guys, it fucking works. I
It does,
swear to God, it
100%.
works. Like I know I sound like I know I'm in Delulu, but like my Delulu has come true.
I've actually
many
read,
a time, many a time.
I've read. Like I just finished a book. It's called The Power of Habit, and in the last chapter, it was saying that if you like write down dialogue of positivity, and then there was a group. It was a study. So there was a group of students that wrote down just all positive things. There was ones that didn't write anything at all, and then there was ones that actually wrote down all the bad things that happened. And obviously, of course, I think it goes to show, but like the positivity came out. Like they were way more nicer to people and everything, and they exuded it.
Well, you also draw in. There's so many benefits to it in the sense you also draw in your people. Like you draw in the people that make. And I do genuinely believe, and this is a lesson I've had to learn over even the past few years. I've learned so. I feel like I've been a bit of a late bloomer in music, and it was because of my own self-doubt and my holding myself back purely.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, you can come up with all the excuses in the world for why you didn't do something. No one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself.
Of course, yeah.
And you have to do the work for yourself. You have to make those decisions for yourself. Even if someone did hold you back, you chose to be your own that person. You know what I mean? Ultimately, it all comes down to your choices in life. And I've just learned so much about why I made poor decisions for myself later. And I said that the imposter syndrome was a huge part of it. Maybe I didn't think I was worthy. I can't even put a pin on why I didn't push myself to go into this sooner, because I knew it was like my purpose. Like I literally had like, you just that feeling where like this is the this is all I'm meant to do. And even if it didn't go farther than this I am right now, like this is what I was meant to do.
You're ticking the box. Like some people just want to be in it. Like, how did you even go off and get the job in the Roxy? Because, like, you're a working musician right now. You are living someone's dream. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're living your own
and
dream.
I remind myself that
Yeah.
every time I'm, like, not feeling good about myself, I'm like, you sing music for a living. You
Yeah,
sing
exactly.
music for a living. And, like, I just, like, literally remind myself that you're
100%.
already doing what you wanted to do, and it only can grow from here.
Fact, 100%.
But basically, like, so my Uncle Rafe is a drummer.
Okay.
And my Aunt Claire, she lives here in Canada as well.
in Vancouver? Or
Vancouver.
Oh, cool.
And so he is a drummer, and he's a drummer in the country music scene here in Vancouver. And they were looking for a new singer for their country band years ago now, and
What was the name of the band?
Whiskey Jane.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and they were quite well known in the scene at the time, and they basically Rafe knew I obviously was doing singing outside of this, like not necessarily like a little bit professionally, like working, but like nothing too crazy. I was kind of dipping my toe.
Were you still in the theater kind of scene
Yes,
too?
I was still kind of doing theater work and like just doing it for myself at that point, really. But then he came to me being like, "Do you want to try?" Like, cause he knew what I was capable of, and he knew that because they'd seen me like grow up, and he'd see me what I could do, and he basically just came to me. He's like, "Do you want to give a shot at this? Like, we can try, like, just work together and see if you really want to try and be like a gigging musician." And so I just took the leap of faith and started working with him, and I started doing like Gabby's and Roosters and all the rodeos.
Gabby's is out in Langley, right?
Well, Gabby's and Roosters sadly are both shut now.
Since
They
COVID?
shut down during COVID, which is really
fuck.
sad because they were
yeah.
wonderful venues, especially for the country scene.
Yes.
But yeah, I started doing the circuit of those country bars, as well as like the rodeos that come into town, just all that stuff. And I really realized I just clicked, and performing was like I was like, I'm good at this.
When you were growing up, like, was country one of your first loves at all? Oh no.
No, I'm not. No. I'm not a country bumpkin by any means. No. I love singing country music because I honestly, there's not many. I will say I'm really eclectic in the sense I really enjoy singing different genres, and that is something that's fun with cover work, is that you get to.
Because country's on its it's reviving now.
It's like all of a sudden on steroids.
Yeah,
it's like Beyonce puts a cowboy hat on, all society's country. Like it's like
Miley Cyrus actually wrote a song for her
on the record.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fucking good. I
didn't listen to it.
It's a very good album.
read
I'm not
an
gonna lie.
article.
Dolly Parton's on it too.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
she fucking like Miley's godmother?
Yeah. No, but honestly, as soon as I saw it, Beyonce did like her own rendition of Jolene. And it's actually like badass. I'm like this, and Dolly Parton even like approved of it, and it was like literally did like a little cameo on it, being like, I think she says in the album, like, because like the Jolene goes, flaming locks of auburn hair, like is like the woman who took her man in the song. And then Beyonce put that song out saying Becky with the blonde hair. They saying, implying that like that's who like Jay-Z cheated on her with or whatever. And so like Dolly Parton literally goes in the album.
I thought she was the auburn hair because she took the song from her.
No, she basically was saying like, oh, different, like the Dolly Parton said to Beyonce, like same kind of pain, different color hair, implying that they both had a woman take their man kind of thing. And I was like, oh, it was clever in my opinion. The two queens like fully slaying there. I like that.
Go on. Girl country power, huh?
You know, I'm very girl power lady. First of all, it's a very male dominant environment in which I work in, and so if I ever have the opportunity to like work with another woman in this scene, I fully take it because I swear to God, it's like one woman for every 10 men.
Yes.
And that's not necessarily bad. Luckily, I get along with men very well. I was a bit of a tomboy in a sense growing up, and like,
no way.
Well, not like necessarily aesthetically. I do like girly things. But I've always gotten along with men really well. Like I've like always been that girl who had like guy friends. Like I'd have to like tell boyfriends that like I have friends who are men and you have to be okay with that. Like, because there's sometimes the guys aren't okay with that, you know. So like it definitely has been one of those things where like
they're kind of insecure on their part, really.
Yeah, but it also working in the work I work in. Thank God I do because it's all I'm with. Yeah, I'm only 100%. With men 90% of my life. Like luckily working at the Roxy, we have other girl singers, but most of the time I'm the only girl there that night. I have subs, so I don't even get to work with them. They're just like...
That's the one thing I wanted to bring up. So Loaded itself, the band, the band's name, but it changes 5 days a week? Or it's 7 days a week?
What the Roxy has done now, years ago, they would hire, as I was saying a little bit earlier to you, they would hire a band. A band would audition, and that band would be hired. So what they did after the last band kind of disbanded... instead of doing that, which I actually think the way they've done this is so clever because getting a night off as a musician can be hard.
Big time, yeah.
Especially like weekends, like you kind of go into music knowing that like nights and weekends are like abolished. You don't have those anymore. Like you have to love music enough that you're okay with just like not having weekends, which I do. I'm so okay with it. I love my job. But basically what they did is they decided to hire like a super band. So instead of like hiring one band, they've hired like 15 musicians and we kind of all have our own nights. So like Monday night, the band is like Matt, Sammy, Phil, Lee, and me. And then Sunday night it's Scotty.
But that's teamed as well, right? It's teamed.
Yeah, so you know your night and like, so like as I said, I'm Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yes.
Right? So like I could also sub that out now because it's not just the full band being subbed out.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like shift work. You have your night, you have your shift, and then the band, everyone's like, so our drummer, we have two main house drummers, Scotty and Sammy. And so like I work with Scotty on Saturday, Sunday, but I work with Sammy on Monday. Cool. Because so Scotty is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Sammy is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like everybody has their shift night, so we can actually like swap shifts and like get things covered and actually have like a life because it's everyone who works there. It mostly is their main gig.
How did you get the gig?
So when I was in the country scene initially, that's obviously
with your uncle. Sorry.
Yes. So easy to sidetrack in conversation. I was basically doing that, and I met my ex through the country scene. He's a guitar player in the scene. And then Maddie, the bass player I work with now at the Roxy, also a dear friend of mine.
Shout out to Maddie.
Shout out Maddie Genru. Yeah. He went to my ex at the time and was like, do you know any singers? We need another singer, a Monday, Tuesday singer at the Roxy. Like, because this is when they were kind of revamping the Monday, Tuesdays at this time. They'd kind of set up the bands for the weekend stuff, but they were still figuring that out. And this was about 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's picking up my gulp.
I think I prefer.
I took a big gulp just then, and I was like, oh, I don't know.
I'll do a gulp louder than yours.
I'm gonna like swallow down here.
We get another one.
But yeah, so he basically messaged my ex at the time and was like, do you know any singers that could like audition for the Roxy? And we were only been dating for a few months.
At that time, did they think like it was going to be a country? Were you even going? Am I going in for a country or?
No, they were just hiring a singer. I
Yeah.
think it was kind of just known that like. I think people also even know hearing me that I'm not necessarily like a country gal. Like I can sing country, but when you see me, like if you come in on a Saturday night and then a Sunday night, like you can tell where I land. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like I'm definitely more of a pop rock lady.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I like the grit of rock added, but like it's pop for sure.
Yeah.
But so basically, he asked him, and then my ex came to me being like, "Would you want to audition?" And honestly, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm not gonna get this. Like, but I'm going to audition for the experience.
Yes,
I'm gonna
100%.
just because at that point I'd only been gigging for about 1.5 to 2 years with this country group, and it was only like a couple times a month. It wasn't full-time work. I was serving at the same time. It was more of just like me following my little passion that I knew I had to do, but I didn't know how to go about it in any way, shape, or form, and that was just my way of starting. And so when I auditioned for the Roxy, it fully was one of those things where I was like, I'm not gonna get this, but like this was a great experience.
Do you think that was kind of like a blessing in disguise to go in with that attitude, so you didn't build it up in a sense?
Yes and no, because I've very much changed my point of view on attitudes in that. I think being humble is important.
Yeah.
I do. But I also think that having confidence and owning what you're good at is really important. And I've learned that through this job. Because honestly, like, I just think there's such a difference between knowing your abilities and knowing your talent and being cocky. Because you can be kind.
Oh yeah, you can be arrogant.
Yeah,
too.
you don't have to be arrogant, but you can be like, no, I'm good at this.
Yes.
And like, I know that, and I'm a humble and kind, loving person, but like, if someone asks me, what are you good at? I'd be like, I'm a damn good performer, and I'm a damn good singer. But like, I'm not perfect at everything. You know what I mean? There's areas that I'm like I would say that like singing and performing is my strong suit, and I love songwriting. Am I the best songwriter in the world? No, I don't think I am. I think I have a lot of growth in that area to go. I've really prioritized performing and gigging and singing over that.
Yeah.
And do I want to grow more in it? Of course. But like, as I'm saying, like, I think just knowing your strong suits is a really important skill as well.
Okay.
And knowing your weak points as well, because then you can grow in those and further yourself in those. But I think it keeps you humble. It's keeping yourself humble too. I think that because like also, the job I have, I could very easily fall into a very egotistical attitude. I have like a room of people praising me at points. I could very easily slide into just like, I'm queen bitch. Like, but like, I also keep in mind that like I only have this job because these people are showing up and doing this for me.
Yes, exactly.
I wouldn't have this job.
And having a team of
wonderful, talented,
15
amazing
or so,
musicians supporting
behind you.
me, behind me. It's a team effort.
Yeah,
no matter
100%.
what, music is a team effort. I don't think there's one part of music that isn't a team effort, other than maybe sitting by yourself and writing a song. But then you also need a team to get that to go anywhere.
Being a DJ and a producer. But
Yeah.
however,
Yeah.
you probably need way more people than I do. What I was going to say is, so you got the job, right? Or you went in?
I did. So basically, I auditioned, and it was a multi-audition process. So multiple auditions. It wasn't just one. You didn't just go in and sing, and they gave it to you. So they got me to come in. You basically sing like the first few songs of the night with the band.
With the band, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They give you some songs ahead of time. You memorize them or whatever.
Was that your first time even playing with the band? Or
Yeah.
did you
Yeah. The
trial
Roxy is
run
a
it?
very we don't rehearse. We have
No way.
I've never had a rehearsal at the Roxy.
Oh, okay,
They
alright.
basically you get the songs, they tell you the key, or if there's a little bit of a different rendition, they'll send you the YouTube video of what rendition we are doing.
Yeah.
And then the day that you're adding the song, you basically all look at each other and go like, "Oh, here we go. Let's see how this goes." Then it either lands or it
We're off to the
doesn't.
races.
And yeah, it literally. And it's so funny because so many musicians are like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, I don't know. It's a very heads up hockey environment, and as much as that sounds stressful to a lot of musicians who are used to rehearsing, I think that it's honestly really been beneficial for me. I think that it's given me a really flexible attitude, and it's like one of those things where I'm like, I can throw anything at me and like I'll make it work. Because like
I keep on quoting Bob Ross all the time, the happy accident.
yes, honestly, a happy accident, serendipity.
Oh, nice.
That's what that means.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, it's created in my opinion, I think that's a strong skill that you gain with what the Roxy's done. Obviously there's certain songs where we've had to do rehearsal because some songs have too many elements. You know what I mean? Like if we were about to do a Queen song or something, we might need a fucking rehearsal.
Yeah.
Because like there's like just so many elements. But like if you had an average pop song, like if someone threw it, well, I do Hot and Cold, and we didn't do that song before by Katy Perry, it'd be like, okay, we can all show up and definitely do that. So it's just, you just go home.
It's either going to turn out hot or cold anyway.
Yeah, literally. Quite literally.
Yeah. Cheesy joke.
But I love a good dad joke. Throw the dad jokes out there. But yeah, so
I'm trying to think of them now.
I know you're like, okay, let's mine a turn in.
What's this? I did one of these.
Yeah, there you go. What songs did I even audition with back then? Oh, okay, yeah, no, I did. I could tell they were trying to not sewer me. I could tell the manager at the time, his name was Jason Bonnell. He's the music director for the Roxy, and the bass player on the weekend. But I could tell the song that he put "What a Man" by Salt and Pepper in one of the audition songs.
Oh, what?
Hold on.
That's What a Man.
And what a man, what a mighty good man. Yeah, that song. But it's like memorizing an essay because it's a rap, and not one part of it is repeated except "What a Man." And so I literally at the time was like, oh, he's trying to see how I fuck up. He's not trying to see if I can do it because like there's no way.
He wants to see how you react.
Yes, he wants to see how. Because like the one thing is because we don't have rehearsal and stuff, they need to see how you mess up. And what I mean by that is like, how do you land when you mess up? Are you a panicker? Do you freak out? Do you go like, or like start over? Or like
fight or flight kind of.
Yeah. Or do you go with it?
Yeah.
I got through the first verse, forgot the rest of the song, and I sang "What a Man" over and over again for 3 minutes. But I sang those 3 lines like fucking Queen the entire time and was like, if it's all I'm going to sing, because I can't remember the rest of the song, I'm going to sing what a man, what a mighty good man, damn well for 3 minutes.
Yeah. It's so like Chris Brown, what's that song? It's just three
yes,
words.
No, I know what you mean though. And it's just I literally just kept doing that. And I got off the stage and I was like, I'm so sorry I messed up. And he was like, you did exactly what I wanted you to do. Which is basically, he knew I wouldn't be able to do this song well because he gave me like 5 days to memorize an essay of a song, which like no one could really do. I mean, I guess you could if it was all you were doing. I know, yeah. But he literally said to me after, it was what I thought, where he was basically trying to see how I fuck up. And like if I can handle like a high intense scenario where like I'm messing up in front of a lot of people, am I going to just like cry and run off or ask to start over or like just stop or like am I going to own it and keep going and just look at the musicians and make it work? Yes. And luckily I did do that.
Do you think the early age of doing the theatre shows and being a theatre kid, that kind of helped?
Oh gosh, yeah. Being a okay with being a weirdo and being this like crazy drama geek it's so funny. All the things that you're insecure about as like a teenager and a preteen are everything that benefit you as an adult. Do you know what I mean? Like all those, like I used to be so insecure about like how outgoing I was and how loud I was and how much I talked, and it used to like I'd be less. Like I just always was like trying to be less for people. And like always, like it was like a thing. I would literally tell myself, be less. And like I wish I could go back and just be like, stop it.
Be more.
Be everything. And like, cause like now if someone like I've even had someone be like, oh, you talk a lot. I'm like, I know. I'm aware. I'm here. Yeah. I'm with me all the time. Like I'm so aware. Like, yeah. So it's just.
We're gonna get 2 more pints. And we're
okay, I gotta try that.
We can throw that down, or if you want to drink, it's probably gone stale though, is it?
I don't know. What is it? I work at the Roxy. I'll drink anything.
Drink it through a dirty welly.
So we'll do it proper. Hold on. We'll do the proper.
Yeah. Save that's a pension fund now.
My pension. That's so funny. Your pension. Okay, so.
So the game. We'll explain it to anyone new who's listening.
Okay.
You.
I don't even know the game. Explain it to me.
Sir, what am I talking about? That white line where the black body and the white head.
Okay.
You have to split it in between the
word
top
Guinness.
G and that middle E. So,
okay, so those lines. Okay, so like that line there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can gulp. Some people are like just trying to drink one gulp. No, you can take a couple of drinks, but once you put it up,
okay,
and then when you put it down,
it has to be.
It has to go through.
And you said if I kind of line it up with that, but I was tilted.
Yeah, go for that.
Okay.
But that's the secret.
Oh, that's the secret. I didn't say that. That doesn't work.
So are you ready to do this?
Okay.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
You know what though? It doesn't actually work because there's different harps and different size everything's a little bit different.
I don't know what I'm talking about, guys. Okay,
Cheers,
here we
man.
go. Cheers.
Ready?
Here we go. Oh, God.
I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, my God, thank you.
Did you hear the gulps?
I'm just above it.
You and me just got the same thing.
We did the exact same thing.
Let's turn on, show the camera.
There we go. I was close.
We're like 2 sips off.
My British family, don't be disappointed in me.
That's pretty close.
No, it's a good effort.
Another sip. Hold on.
Yeah. Don't look. Close your eyes.
There, now it's there. I did it.
And we're back in the room. We got it. Woohoo!
Yeah, cut that. Just cut that little more.
Yeah. Cheers.
What were we? Oh yeah. So he hired. Basically, did
yeah.
those 2 auditions. And I'm literally thinking in my head, like, this was like, I was literally thank you for this opportunity and experience. Like, that was my mindset.
Well,
Like,
and was this a weekday or was this a
it
Saturday?
was a weekday. I was auditioning for Monday, Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So they basically, and at the time, I was like, this is great because I can still do work with Whiskey Jane, which was always weekend gigs, and do Monday, Tuesday, because who hires musicians on Monday, Tuesday? Other than the Roxy, which is like 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Yeah, it's so good.
So I thought it was a really great side gig at the time, and that was the attitude I went in with it. And like, but at the time, I also didn't think I was going to get hired. And then the second audition we did at the end of it, he was like, literally, we were having a drink, and he was like, so we're hiring you. And I was like, pfft. And I literally was like, what? Like, I was actually taken aback by it. I really didn't think that I was going to get the job.
No way.
But again, that's that whole like self-worth thing that I was saying. I really did have like imposter syndrome in it. But like hindsight, I look back and I'm like, no, like I did well. I just never really liked, I don't know why. It is one of those things where you kind of just like don't want to hype yourself up. You know what I mean? In case you don't get it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he offered it to me. I was stoked, obviously. So I was on Monday, Tuesdays for about a year.
How was that going into an environment where you're playing with new artists and
Extremely intimidating.
There is no rehearsals, and then
I was very
was Monday and Tuesday. Were you with different drummers, different bass guitarists, and
Luckily,
guitarists?
Monday, Tuesdays at the time was the same band both nights, which did make it a little easier.
Yeah.
At the time, it was Jared Suter, Sam Cartwright, Jim McLaren, and Matt Jenru on bass.
Cool.
And then me as the lead vocalist.
Yeah.
And that was Monday, Tuesdays for a long time. I did that for about a year, and it was very intimidating. All the musicians at the Roxy are, to say great is like an understatement. They're all phenomenal musicians, and I didn't necessarily have like as much musical education as them. I was more in performance. You know what I mean? Like I did the acting and the performance. I didn't necessarily have like these people have been to school for music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I didn't really have the funds to go to post-secondary myself. I chose to travel. I was in performance already in other ways, and that's what I prioritized. So when I did start to follow this side of passion, I was a little, I wouldn't say behind in some areas, but education-wise with music, I was behind for all intents and purposes of what people define education as.
Yeah, of course.
And it was intimidating.
Did you think that's where the imposter syndrome kind of like
I do think it is
a little bit too?
100%. It's to this day is something I'm probably most insecure about.
Yeah.
Even though I know not everyone has to be the same, and not everyone has to bring the same to the table, but like that's definitely something that if anything's going to creep up in my mind, being like, oh, giving me that, it's definitely that. Even though at the same time I think about it, I'm like, I didn't have the passion and drive to do it, and I don't really still. So it's like I feel like shitty about something that I don't even want to do, which is when you start to like kind of remind yourself of like I'm not supposed to do it if I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like if I wanted to do it, I would have done it. Yeah. But I do think my strong suit is performance, and I do think it's what's gotten me as far as I've gone. Is I performing and connecting with an audience and just being my loud self has gotten me where I am. Yeah. But also working with such a strong band is so helpful. And I will say, working with the Roxy, such a high caliber talent they're just so talented. They're all so great. And they're such a good backbone for what I do. If I work with another band, it's like, okay, yeah, this isn't the Roxy band. Like, and it's not
These aren't my homies here.
Well, it's also just they're so tight. Yeah. Everything's so tight and everything's so on. Nice. And when you work with like musicians that aren't as tight, it's not that they're shit, you just notice. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you become so used to a certain caliber of musician that you just notice when people are not as high caliber. But it doesn't mean they can't get there. It's just they are also majority of the musicians of the Roxy have been doing this their whole lives.
Yeah.
And some of them it's almost like retirement. This is like they're like after they've toured the world for years with famous bands, this is what they do for their spare time.
And there's a reason why you got called to do the entertainment for the Canucks watch parties.
That was so fun.
Which is so crazy to see.
That was definitely like there's things because like obviously like for me that's like the goal. Like that is like that those kind of shows
before when you
are the goal. Like
before we started recording, you were like pyrotechnics.
Oh, yeah. No, when people ask me like, where do you see your career? I'm like, I don't know, but there better be flames shooting out next to me. Like that's what I want to feel that heat. I want to be like, are my eyelashes still on? Like that's what I want to be like.
How did that all like? Do you know what shit as well? And I'm delighted that they did the watch parties, but like. Because of 2011, they don't do outdoor watch parties. I know,
and honestly, at first we thought that like it was all so last minute. First of all,
yeah,
we didn't even know we were doing the gigs till like a week before.
Yeah,
like so, being at the Roxy,
they need to bring that back.
Outdoor,
yeah.
I really hope that these watch parties did show that we are not delinquents.
Yeah,
because like it does. I mean, you guys were obviously here for the last riot.
No, I wasn't. No.
Oh, no, I guess that was a little bit after you guys got... so it wasn't good. It was bad.
Yeah.
Like, in hindsight...
That was 2011, right?
Yes, and I was, on my way downtown at the time, and I was on the SkyTrain, and my mom, like, literally called me being like, you're not going downtown, blah, blah, blah. And I had, like, 3 friends arrested that night.
Oh,
like,
shit.
It was, like, not good. Like, and these are, like, not people who you wouldn't have thought that would be arrested. But, like, it was not a good night. I kind of get why the mayor was nervous about it. I understand why they did what they did. It's unfortunate, and hopefully this time round, the good attitude and good behavior it will show improvement. Maybe next time it won't be that way. But I do, for the government officials, kind of understand the nervousness, because like it was global news what we did.
Oh, I remember.
It was not good. It was like there was
cars flipped over.
There's for such a peaceful city. It was like. When I saw the pictures, it just looked like a different city. Like it was insane. It was so out of character for Vancouver.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, to me personally, I understand sports camaraderie, but like, it's just fucking hockey, guys. Chill the fuck out. Like, we didn't even do that for like real political things or anything major. We're burning cars down because of a puck. Chill out. Well, chill out.
You know, the name of the puck, right? So if you actually translate that back to Ireland. Puck fada is long puck in Ireland, in Gaeilge. Oh. So like the actual hockey itself, there is ties to Ireland.
I did not know that. Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you right now. I know like literally almost nothing about sports.
But you liked performing at it.
Oh, I'll go to any sports game. I love actually going to sports games and like the whole like environment, like because I'm so like I was saying before, like energy is everything to me. I'm so charged by people. Yeah. So being in like a really upbeat, like everyone's excited environment, I just like automatically I'm like, ooh, even if I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? I'm like,
we got popcorn.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, but like, do I know what's happening? No.
I can barely even see the fucking thing.
No, I'm like, I react when people cheer. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, something good happened.
They scored against us.
Yeah. Like honestly, I would have no idea. I'm just like a good sport when I'm there. I'm like, I'll join the whole camaraderie, but like, ask me what's going on. I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm watching the commercials on the TV. I'm not a big sports lady for that, but I will perform at any sports event that you ever want me to perform at.
It was last minute. You got the phone call, or?
Well, so basically, I've been on weekends at the Roxy for a long time now, and the women they're such wonderful women. Also, shout out to Jade and Aaron, the Canucks coordinators. They came into the Roxy one night when they were just partying, and they saw our band, and they approached Jason asking how they would hire us, and then apparently they reached out to him like a couple weeks after that. I'm assuming they kind of had some things in mind, but they didn't really fully know because they didn't even get approval from. They have to get approval from like the mayor, I'm assuming, or whatever person said that they couldn't. Because initially, I think it was the mayor that said we couldn't do outside parties. Yeah. So I guess they were trying to maybe figure out how they could do this without.
I think they even like push back. Like, I was very happy that they did in Rodgers Arena.
Yeah.
but they have to push other artists back. So it was kind of cool that they actually.
Oh, they literally changed. I couldn't believe how much work they did to make this work.
They moved mountains to actually make that work.
And I will say, like, did you guys get to go to any of the viewing parties?
I did not, unfortunately.
Oh,
no.
dude, it was like for the game not actually being there.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the energy in the room. You would think the hockey game was actually happening on that ice. The energy that was going on, like even the Canuck people who worked there.
That white fucking handkerchief thing was a great idea too.
Oh, the towel power.
Yeah.
Towel power. That's what they said every time. I have like 8 towels now at home.
You were the person robbing all the kids' ones.
Every fucking person just throws the towels at me. I'm like, okay, I have all the towel power. But it was amazing, and even like
make a blanket.
I honestly just make a little quilt, a little Canuck quilt.
Yeah.
But like they were saying, even all the staff there that you talked to them, they were like, this is more insane than an actual game during the season. Like the room was charged, and people were it felt like it was infectious. It was very, very good energy in the room. It was really like, as I said, I'm not necessarily a sports fan, but like I could feel the positivity. I could feel the vibe. It was great. It was hard not to smile. Like it was a really great environment. It was a wonderful gig. I'm so grateful for the experience because like I've done other sports. I played for the BC Lions.
You play for them?
Well, like not football.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ, I can't throw a football to save my life. You'd be like, gun to head, throw a football, but shoot me. I can't do it.
Running after the water.
Yeah, no, I'm not really bad. But no, I've done gigs for the BC Lions. I'm doing gigs for them this year as well. I'll be working with the Warriors as well, which is the lacrosse team. And now that working with the Canucks, I've just spoke with the girls recently. I'll be doing work for them next year as well, which is wonderful.
That's cool.
I know. I just said I'm just going to be the resident sports singer while also having no education in sports. They don't need to know that. Don't listen to that. Like,
I love sports.
I love sports so much. So much.
The water woman.
I'm so athletic. Not at all. I go to the gym and I'm not athletic. But yeah, so did that. So basically messaged us. Jason literally emailed being like, are you available for this? And luckily, because they were daytime gigs, it's pretty easy to be available for that because like most of the gigs that hire you otherwise are evening, right? So like I would literally just work there and then go to the Roxy at night. But out the gate, the first one was so fun, and then they asked us again, and they asked us again, and then we basically did every game until we were eliminated.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And like, what a wonderful team to work for. Like the Canucks team.
Did you get to meet the team?
The actual team? No, but I do know some of the players just because like it's Vancouver and hockey and growing up, I just know some of them anyway.
Yeah.
I'm also not really one of those girls who's like, athlete.
Yeah.
I'm not. It doesn't do much for me. You can hit a ball, cool. Like, you get sweaty and chase after a puck.
Do you have any teeth?
Yeah. Do you have teeth?
Yeah.
Literally.
I don't know. If you want to come on the podcast, give me a shout though.
Yeah. If you want to be an athlete over here, it's pretty fun.
Cheers.
But that doesn't really do much for me. So like, sure. But I'll play at your games again.
Yeah, there you go.
But the team, the group of people working, like the sound techs there, the coordinators for the events, like. Honestly, everyone was like, I kept raving to them being like, you guys are so kind. Like the energy of the team, like outside of the actual gig, the energy and vibration of everybody I worked with, they're so positive.
Did the band, did you have like did you prep for that? Or did you just go straight
No,
into
straight
it?
in. They sent us the set lists.
Fuck.
They send us the set lists, and we know the songs ahead of time, and you
go
just
on
show
the
up
balls
and you
of
do
your
it.
toes, like.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean by that the Roxy's been a wonderful training for that.
Did you get nervous before that? Like, I know you were saying, but your first time even doing like a massive
Do you know what's so funny is it's not that I got nervous. Nervous is a different feeling than this.
Nerves are good.
Nerves
right?
are good. Nerves are good.
Yeah.
I've gotten past, like when I go up to work at the Roxy on weekends, I don't really get nervous anymore. And I miss that. And I did say to the girls, and when I say the girls, I mean Erin and Jade, the event coordinators for the Canucks, that these gigs were so amazing in the sense that like, it's not that I wasn't necessarily nervous. I actually get more nervous for acoustic gigs than I do for big gigs.
Oh, wow.
Because it's so much more intimate, and it's like if you fuck up, I'm looking that person in the eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, But like when you mess up in an arena, it's like none of you are watching me. You know what I mean? Like it's just so many people that even if you are, I'm like I can't like see you. Yeah. So it's just a little less intimidating at the same time. I know that sounds a bit opposite, but that's just kind of how my brain works weirdly. Maybe it's because I'm more used to big audiences because of the Roxy.
No,
but it wasn't.
I understand that.
Yeah, it's odd. I'm more comfortable on a big stage than a small stage at this point in my life. I think that's just because of the repetition of how much I perform in front of bigger audiences, purely. But for that gig, it wasn't necessarily nerves, but as I said, I'm kind of a bit of an adrenaline junkie. Outside of this music and gigging, I just am. Like, I love bungee jumping, I love skydiving. I like doing anything that kind of is like,
do you like heights?
I don't love heights. That's the funny, but that's the thing is I don't like heights. Yeah. But I like the, I'm like, it's not good, but I do enjoy it.
Like entering the void. Have you ever heard of the term of entering the void?
No, but I would do it. What is this happening?
What's
in the void?
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
It's the fear. It's the fear of like when you're walking over a bridge, you look over the bridge and you're like, I could just.
Oh, vertigo. Vertigo.
No, it's called enter the void. It's literally like you have the choice to end your life, but you choose not to. But it's that little like.
If
bubble
dude, yes.
It's disgusting.
Oh, okay. I literally still, like, I was standing, I went on a hike recently and I had that thought. You know, you're standing on the edge of a cliff and you're like, I could just slip and die.
Yeah. Like, I get that walking over a bridge. Fucking going out.
I could just jump over this right now, yeah. No, that is the thing, obviously, but I just get like, I do enjoy a good adrenaline rush. And like, it's definitely a high for me and a good show gives you that.
Nice.
And it doesn't always happen, but like I knew going into these Canuck gigs, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get that feeling."
A little junkie.
Yeah, I was looking good. So like literally that first one happened. You finished the first set, and I was like, "Whoo!"
Was the very first one like the highest high? But then when you went in the next
day,
did it get bigger?
I think the first one wasn't the highest high because I didn't actually even know what I was expecting. When they first hired us for it, I thought like, oh, it's just a viewing party. It's probably gonna be like half empty and just like sparse. Yeah. And we get there and it's fucking sold out. So I didn't know what to expect.
They were like $25 a ticket, but people were selling them for $300.
It started at $15.
Yes.
The first one was $15, and then by the last gig we did, they were like, people were like, I hate when people do that. By the way,
I know because it was
when
for charity.
People fucking buy in mass and like do that. I'm like, don't
That's
be
a
dick.
massive problem in Vancouver.
It is. It's such an expensive city as it is. Leave us alone.
How do you like just tickets for like Justin Timberlake were $300?
I don't even know how people like lettuce is like $6 right now. Like lettuce pie concert tickets for not like
one pepper is $3.
I know. I can't even do it right now. The fact that I don't even think about gas prices anymore tells me how expensive everything is because I don't even think about gas anymore. But yeah, I didn't know what to expect at the Canucks the first time, so it was kind of like, whatever. But I would say
You did 4.
The second, I did, yes.
It's best out of 7?
It was 4. I did 4 of the shows.
Yeah.
And the third one, I want to say, it's the third one, right? I'm thinking about what I'm wearing. What was I wearing?
I think it's the third one that it's on your Instagram.
Yes. So I was wearing leather pants, I think. Yeah. Okay, that one, I don't know. There was just, it was finally one of those ones where it was full arena sold out. Everyone kind of knew what they were walking into. You just knew it'd be charged, and like it was like, oh, we could win this. Like, you know, you can feel like it wasn't like the beginning where it's like this is just fun. It was like we could fucking win this, and like we won like every game we played at too. So it was like, and it was just every time they won at the same time as I playing, the whole day was just so great. Like outside of like. So like the Canucks family was stoked because they won, and we were stoked because we got to do this amazing gig, and like everyone was just so happy, and it was just it was one of those days where you walk away and you're like, oh, what a good day.
Yeah.
You know, like you get home and you're like, it was really great.
Unreal.
It was really, honestly, it was a great experience. I can't, hopefully, knock on wood.
Next year.
Canucks family shout out. We'll do it next year again.
Yes.
It was so fun. Such a blessing, and it just solidified everything in me that like being in front of 18,000 people and singing, I'm just like, when's that my name up there? Like that was like, that was just all it was like, it just made me realize I'm like, I'm following my purpose. I'm following 100%. What I'm supposed to do. And it's so funny too, because people think that like, the amount of people that like judge, It's such a weird job and industry because there's a lot of really judgy people out there, and people think that when I like the job I do and stuff, they assume that I'm this like cocky, egotistical bitch. Like, just assume that. I'm not even kidding. The amount of people that I've met and been like, you're actually so nice. And I'm like, thanks. Like, that was a backhanded compliment.
To be honest, the amount of artists that I've had met throughout this, I would have thought that before going in, but everyone just seems down to earth.
Oh, because
like,
it starts...
everyone is down to earth.
Do you know how much, as I said,
you have to fail.
self-talk and how much shit we've been through to get to that. Like, that's the thing is, like, when people judge, it's like, when someone... I recently had a conversation with a girl who was kind of putting me down, and I literally straight up was like, how often do you put yourself out there? How often do you put your entire heart and soul and vulnerability out on the line?
100%.
And she like couldn't really answer me. I'm like, I do that every fucking weekend. And you come to me and tell me when you do that every fucking weekend that you don't deserve to have a little bit of I'm great at what I do.
Yeah.
Like, I put myself out there even when I feel the worst about myself. I push myself through that feeling to show up for that job and give that show for those people. And does it benefit me? Of course, it's an exchange. When you're doing a great performance, I get as much from that audience as I give to them. 100%. And that's how I like to look at it. It's like the more I give, the more I get back. That
even mirrors in the fact of like your music. You're shattered. Is that right?
Yes.
That's like a really like just a breakup song where you're telling everyone.
You know what's so funny is it's actually not about a breakup.
No way.
It's actually.
It seems like a breakup.
It does, and that's why I always like to preface that, like, and don't get me wrong, I've had my heart shattered like any other woman in the world by a man. But
where did that come from?
Luckily, this song has a happy ending, which you wouldn't know in the song. But so basically, during COVID, I actually had a falling out with a really dear friend of mine.
Oh, no.
And I always preface when I actually talk about this song is that a really big assumption in society, in my opinion, is that when women have their heart broken, it's always by a man. Like, we just love to talk about how women just moan about men getting their heart broken. And for me, my heart was broken by a friend. It was a close girlfriend of mine, and she really broke my heart with how this fight went and how everything ended up going. And it like, I won't get into the details of what happened, but like it was just heartbreaking. And I thought at the time it was the end of our friendship, and we did have about a year of not speaking because of this fight. And she was one of my dearest friends, like very close.
Oh, no.
So what had happened was heartbreaking, and it did shatter me at the time because it was somebody who I lent on heavily at the time. And for me, as much as a personal relationship with your partner is very important, my friendships are very important to me.
Yeah.
The people I choose, I do think that you are the average of people you spend your time with, and so the people I choose to put my energy and love into are very important to me.
Yes.
And I put a lot of effort and love into my friendships. And so when this fight happened and fall through happened, it was heartbreaking.
We have our mother would have a saying. It's like, tell me your friends and I'll tell you who you are.
And that's a very good saying. Yeah. I would say that to my own kids because honestly, I learned that lesson very hard with spending my time with people who I didn't at the time. I mean, obviously, as I said, there's a lot of lessons learned in your 20s, in my opinion, and when you realize you're not getting what you want in life and you're not going where you want and things aren't going how you want or what you expected, I think one of the number one things I would tell anybody is who are you hanging out with? Who are you spending your time with? Really take a look at that, because if you're not ending up who you want to be and then you look at someone, what are they doing? What are they doing every day?
Even how much time you're spending with them.
Yeah.
Not just working on yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's massive.
Or having friends who will be like, go home and do this.
Yes.
Friends who guide you, friends who push you.
Friends that are like able to say, hey, look, this is not what you want to hear right now.
No, and like people who will pull you away from your purpose are people who you should not be spending your time with. And
100%.
The point is, this person was, for all intents and purposes, that kind of person.
COVID for me particularly, like 100% extrovert.
Yeah.
But because of COVID, I don't think this would have happened.
No.
Because like this.
So much good things came from COVID.
To be an introvert in a sense. And
to look within.
Yeah.
To live within.
Yeah, 100%.
People, honestly, that is one really positive, I think, out of COVID, out of all the negatives out of COVID. I think that if anybody wanted to benefit themselves and wanted to have growth during COVID, taking the time to live within and to look within
100%.
is usually where you find most of your answers. For me personally, as someone who's so extroverted and so outgoing, I think some of my biggest breakthroughs have been when I isolate myself.
When did you write Shattered then?
During COVID.
Yeah.
It was after this fight we had. It was to do with it had to do with my relationship at the time, the fight we had. I was in a not very healthy relationship at the time, and my friend decided to intervene. And in hindsight, she was completely correct. Shout out to Abby, you were right.
Okay,
But at the time, it obviously.
Shit about it.
I know, but the way it was handled, I wasn't. It broke my heart, and then she kind of just disappeared, and I felt abandoned, and I get why Shattered sounds like a breakup song, because it did feel like a breakup for me. You know, it was a friendship breakup, but it felt like a breakup.
Heartbreak.
It was a heartbreak, and I guess the preface of that song, what I always say is it's okay to have your heart broken more than by just a man. And I feel like a lot of women feel this need to be like really strong pillars all the time, because the moment we have any sort of feelings, we're like, oh, you're just another crying woman. Like, and that, I'm not gonna lie, working and fucking with just men all the time, it is that environment a lot. I have to bury a lot of feelings or emotions or things I may feel because of certain stereotypes in this industry, for sure. Has it made me stronger? Yes. Has it taught me how to really control my emotions? Yes. And there are always positives to anything, really. If you want, if you can find them if you want to look.
That glass is always half full.
It is. Mine's a little bit more than half full right now. But the point is, I actually really liked bringing that point up, because I do feel like I want to make other women feel like it's okay to be sad about more than just a boy. And I feel like a lot of music and stereotypes put out that, like, oh, it's about a boy. It's about a boy. It's like, no, we're actually a little more deep than that.
When you were writing that, you started off saying that you were writing a letter. Like, were you actually writing a letter?
I was.
No way. Unreal.
I have this thing where I saw it on Oprah when I was a teenager, which is so lame. Shout out to Oprah. But she basically said a good way to get over something is write this person a letter. You don't have to send it to them, but it's just a way to get it out. And you can burn it, you can throw it away, you can keep it, whatever the heck you want to do with it. And I wrote this letter, and I was going to send it to her because she actually moved to the UK, my girlfriend. And that was what was so heartbreaking, as we had this fight, and then she just disappeared, and it was like you were gone.
Was the song closure for you? Or
it was. It was very much closure for me. Yeah. And so I wrote this letter, and I realized, I was like, I don't even want to send it because I don't even really want to hear what you have to say back. You know what I mean? Like, when you're just you're so strong in your own opinion of the situation, and like I was so grounded in knowing what was right for me that, like, even me expressing these feelings out loud, I don't need to hear what you have to say back. I know where I stand in this. And so
just to get context as well.
Yeah.
You obviously broke up with the ex and then you wrote this?
No, we were still very much together for years after.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we were very much together for quite a while after that. It was a complicated situation at the time. We ended up, basically about a year later, my friend came back from England to visit, and she asked me for coffee. And I am seriously not a grudge holder. If you give me a good apology, we good. If I can feel you mean it.
Let's just move on.
Well, I don't have this, honestly, I have so much going on. I do not have the space to hold anger towards you.
Yeah.
Like, and even if I'm angry at someone, like, I'm not even gonna lie, even the people who I actually deserve my anger, you know I don't like you, I'm indifferent. I don't have anger towards you, you just don't exist.
Yeah.
Like, that's more or less
it's bad for anyone to hold anger
I'm not holding that in me.
Yeah.
I have too much I want to do with my life that needs my positive attention to hold anger towards you, kind of thing. So
I couldn't imagine going on stage to even like perform and just being angry. You know
I mean, there's definitely a few songs that I can fucking, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's definitely, like, it's so funny when you go
that Dolly Parton song just comes up to my head now.
One of my favorite songs to sing to this day, You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette.
Oh, you'd have to sing it now, to be honest.
Oh my God, go listen to it.
Yeah.
Angry woman song, but damn, it feels good to sing when you've gone through shit with a boy.
What song is it?
That I want you to know that I'm happy for you.
I think I know it, yeah.
How's the chorus go again? I'm blanking in this moment. I sing it every Monday.
What a man,
No, yeah. 30 times over. That was a good one. That was good. But yeah, no. So basically, she came back from England and asked me for coffee, and I said yes because I was like, I would love to like move on from this forever and not have this be a thing.
Yeah.
And so she basically just apologized really amazingly and was like, I miss you. I'm so sorry. It was wrong of me to do what I did. And I missed her, obviously. She was one of my dearest friends at the time. I didn't want to not be like best friends anymore. And her apology was more than genuine and was true to her character as I knew she was before in our friendship. And so it's a happy ending. We're totally best friends again, and it's fine.
Nice. She's still living in England?
She is in England now, and she knew shatters about her. I literally, even when I was releasing it, I called her and was like, I'm releasing this song, and it's about you. And I just wanted to let you know because I didn't want you to take it the wrong way. And I was like really honest with her, and I said I wrote this when we were in like the grit of it. I was like,
how did she take it?
She was amazing about it. She wrote me this beautiful message.
She didn't send a letter to like you, no?
No, she's more than
probably burnt that
more
one
of a
and sent the
typer
text.
than a writer.
Yeah.
But she sent me a really nice message back, just saying like, and we both were just, if anything, we were like looking back on it, like what a space of growth and like what a life lesson for us, and like, and honestly, if we can make it through that in our friendship, like we'll be friends forever, and like I adore her, and I'm so happy that like, I just think that those are the friendships will last forever because like. That was a big fight, and it was over real adult shit, like that kind of shit that like it's one of those fights where you're like, is this what mom was saying when you're like an adult? Like what the fuck? Like why?
Yeah.
It's just one of those kind of like fights, but I love her so much, and I'm so happy we grew through that, and I got in my opinion, a beautiful ballad out of it.
It's a beautiful, and it is a ballad, which was kind of like your other songs. There's kind
of
they're
a little more hard than that,
pop rock, and would. Going forward, are you going to go down that route, or like what's next?
I do. It's so funny because what I enjoy to sing and what I enjoy to perform is like two different things. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Because for me personally, I feel like my voice is like. I mean, I've worked very hard on my range. I have quite a large range. I've worked hard on that though. I have quite a low voice naturally. I mean, you can even hear my talking voice. People comment on my talking voice a lot because it is lower for a girl. I've even get offered boy parts in cartoon things.
Really?
Oh, I've had voiceover agents come to me like, you make a perfect boy voice in cartoons. And I'm like, I don't know how to take that.
There's a shitload like Nancy Cartwright.
Like all of fucking The Simpsons is like all women with like lower voices. And I had no idea. And they were like, oh no, it is. And I'm like, I don't know how to take the fact that you think I sound like a cartoon boy. Like, I don't know how to like embrace that. I guess thank you.
This whole podcast is cartoon. You know this.
And I'm actually a man.
Yeah. Joking.
But no, I'm very much a woman, guys. Yeah. Just to clarify that, I'm gonna start a terrible rumor in Vancouver. All of a sudden, the Roxy singer is a transgender, and I'm starting a terrible rumor about myself.
Oh my god.
Not that would be bad. It'd be fine. But I'm a woman. I really want to start leaning into my lower resonant voice. It was something I was actually really insecure about when I first started singing. Because I know I had more of an alto bass.
But even Miley Cyrus has a lower talking voice.
But guys, keep in mind, think about when that came into like, it's only like the past like 10 years that having a lower voice as a female was even like accepted. You kind of had to sound like Taylor Swift or Britney Spears to be like anything as a singer.
Like
so
even
I was like
the 90s Pink, even though she had a little bit of a low voice.
Yeah. No, Pink was like not like first of all, I can't believe you brought Pink. Pink is like my queen.
Oh, no way.
I love her so much.
Oh, right, okay.
Pink is like, Pink, if you ever hear this, I love you so much. She, in my opinion, as an artist, as a woman, just how the image she portrays, the message she portrays, the way she talks about women, the way she talks about...
She's very strong, isn't she?
She's a strong... But she's also just like... I will say, I guess I resonate with a lot of the things she talks about because she's also someone who's a very strong physique.
Strong morally, but then also kind of like...
Physically.
Wild.
Oh, she's buck. The lady's crazy. But she's also so well... And so, like, when I say well, I mean, like, of mind. And, like, I'm 100%. Sure... But she's also... You can see that she's gone through a lot to get to that well mind.
She comes across as very, like, she knows who she is.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I work very hard to portray that myself.
100%.
And just her as an artist and her as a woman, I really have pulled a lot of my inspiration from her.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and even just as her,
you like
her
her,
body image, honestly, the way she talks about her body.
Does, I don't know much about her, to be honest. She wouldn't be my go-to artist.
Oh, I love her.
But she does do that, like hanging from
aerial art.
Yeah,
It's amazing. Her physique, singing a power ballad upside down.
ridiculous.
Damn. She's like, and outside of the fact that she's a phenomenal vocalist, a phenomenal songwriter, and a phenomenal music, all those things, just even the message that she portrays, like, there's not a woman out there who's in music who doesn't deal with image issues. People love
that famous
to point out the imperfections in women.
LA told me you'd be a pop star. All you have to change is everything you are.
Yeah.
That quote, like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've struggled. I mean, like, I love my body and I love myself very much. I have a very different relationship with my mind and body and now than I did when I was younger. But I've had a very strong physique most of my life. I grew up in a time as a millennial where that wasn't necessarily in fashion. It was more like Kate Moss vibes.
Yes.
And I really struggle with my body type. And it's very similar to Pink's. She's a very strong physique. You can tell she's physically inclined. She is not necessarily the daintiest physique in the world. I resonate with that. I feel that. I've always had I'm not a light lady. I'm a pretty dense lady. I work out a lot. Physical health is very important to me. And it's just my body type. I can't change it. And it was something I was very insecure about growing up.
No way.
Oh,
wow.
Beyond. Like, it was it was a huge detriment to my life. It seems silly in hindsight because...
Oh, Jesus. Everyone, especially now with social media, it's ridiculous.
Gosh.
Like, yeah.
But
it's
at the
steroids.
time, it was a huge part of my mental health issues. And watching somebody like Pink thrive, and even though people put her down and made fun of her body and basically called her too strong, said she looked too muscular, all these things. Like, I remember reading these headlines and seeing people put her body down while knowing that's my body type. Looking at these pictures of her and being like, you're saying she's too muscular, and I look in the mirror and I look like her. Watching her push through, and still now, to this day, being the top touring artist in the world on Billboard charts, through that, I'm like, fuck all y'all.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the kind of, like, that's kind of back what I was saying before, where, like, as much as people think that, like, wanting to be a performer, wanting to be in the public eye and stuff in that way makes you, like, egotistical or conceited or whatever, it's really not about that. I feel there's no better feeling than knowing that you are setting an example for other women. And I think probably to this day, one of my most memorable moments I've had, I literally went home bawling my eyes out this night, and in a good way. It was like a happy cry. But this girl came up to me at the Roxy, and it was this little group of girls, and they'd come a few times and seen me. And this one girl came up to me. She's like, my friend needs to talk to you. She's like, she needs to talk to you. And I was like, okay, like, kind of thing. And she pulled me aside, and I'm like, hi, what's up? Like, and I always try to talk to people when I get off stage. If they want to talk to me, I will talk to you.
Nice, yeah.
And she basically just told me that watching me do what I do, and I will say I do it fearlessly. I tell myself, doesn't matter who's fucking out there, you're gonna put everything on the line right now. It doesn't, like, even if someone's making fun of you right to your face. I see people make fun of me all the time. Like, are you kidding me? I look out at the audience and I will definitely see people making fun of me, and I'm just like, fuck you. But, like, I
always myself as a kid, I had psoriasis, like skin disease and shit. It's all good, but it's gone now. But I always thought, like, if someone's laughing at me, I always had this internal dialogue of, like, at least they're laughing. Do you know what I mean? At least I'm making them happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is honestly a very, like, that's a very nice way to put that, but also what assholes.
Oh, I know, I know it's a horrible thing. I'm like, they're laughing at me, but
no, but that's,
at least I'm still fucking
I
making
will
people
say,
laugh.
though, that is
You know
the
what I
kind of
mean?
mindset, though, that I mean is good.
Yeah,
like, to put a positive spin on everything you can.
Oh, I try to, or you have to. Like,
you have in this day and age, Jesus Christ. But yeah, so this girl basically was like, pulled me aside and just saying, watching me do this so fearlessly made her feel like she could do whatever she wanted. And
that's lovely.
Here I was like, and she was like emotional saying it to me, and I was like, are you in arts? And she's like, no, I'm just really shy and I never do anything, and I watch you do that. I'm like, if you can get up there and do that. Like,
Sure
I
she
can go
is.
talk to a stranger, or I can dance with somebody in public, or I can, like, she just said these like vague examples, and I was just like, oh my God. And I think that's literally why performance means so much to me, is I just want, there's people who made me feel that way growing up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily even the level that I'm at. I'm not like a superstar by any means, or yet.
Yes, exactly.
But there was people I looked up to, like Pink, that made me feel like, you can do that. You can
Yeah,
do this. They're
100%.
doing it. You can do it. And
But even just being there physically, like, it's for her, for anyone.
well, the fact that I just couldn't believe that
Yeah.
she said that to me, because it's exactly what I want, and it's nothing to do with
That's
like
super cool.
fame or ego or anything to do with that. If I could perform in front of like hundreds of thousands of people all the time and not be famous, that'd be ideal. Because I still want anonymity. Is that the word?
anonymity.
I want to be able to like walk around. Like, I don't think I deal well with fame, but I want to perform in front of a lot of people without fame. If that makes sense. Like, yeah, like I want to be able to go without makeup on. You know what I mean?
know what
Like,
you mean.
do
Yeah.
whatever I want. But
A lot
also
of
just,
a
like,
lot of Irish artists, especially in Ireland, it's very crab bucket mentality.
crab bucket. What does that mean? Crab bucket mentality.
So you have a crabs in a bucket and they're trying to get out. All the other ones are dragging back down.
Oh, that is such a good saying.
Yeah, but
I used to crab as a kid, and I know fully what you're talking about when looking in that bucket. Like, I grew up on a beach, and like I'm thinking about crab bucket. I'm like, they do that. What a good saying.
yeah.
Crab bucket mentality. I'm gonna keep
You can have it. It's
You can have it.
It's $3.99 just today.
that. $3.99. I'll get you some change later.
But yeah, a lot of artists now would even put like masks over their faces.
Because it's really,
and stuff like
that's what's
that.
so funny about the people that actually
Isn't-
become famous. You can
Yeah.
tell who wants to be famous. Like, I think reality stars, and I'm speaking, obviously not for everybody, but generally speaking, you go into that, you're seeking fame.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of artists out there, like, they don't want fame. They want to put a message out there, or to make people feel good on a mass level.
100%.
And for me, that's what performance does. And even knowing that,
It's the feeling of doing it too. Like,
oh God,
yeah.
I get something out of
Yeah,
it. It's not. It's
100%.
definitely. It's not. It's, as I said, it's an exchange. Like, I always find the more I put into a performance, the more I get back. The more I put in, like, the harder I work, the more I get back from people. And so that's what I mean by it's an exchange, in the sense that, like, if I want to feel good, then you better give these people everything you got.
That's unreal.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and so
100%.
like if I'm like, oh, it's an average night, I'm not going to give that much, then don't be pissed off when they're not reacting the way you want. You know what I mean? Like, it really is just like you give and you get. And I think that the exchange between an audience and a performer is, like, to me, one of the most like special exchanges and moments in, like, that, just for me, obviously, but like that's everything to me.
That's
And
fantastic.
there's very little I would give up. Like, I wouldn't give anything up for that, actually. I don't think I could never stop at this point. I'm addicted.
That's epic. Josephine, where can we find you on all social medias?
Social medias. I am Josephine _ music, because just one underscore was taken. If I'm being completely honest. So it's Josephine _ music on all platforms.
Yes.
Instagram, TikTok, all the things. And TikTok's probably my biggest platform. I live my Roxy performances every weekend.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean,
I'm so old school. I'm all Instagram. So I have to get on to...
you gotta get on the talk.
Yes.
You gotta get on the tick of the talk.
Yes.
But yeah, so TikTok live my performances every weekend.
Wicked.
Well, any performances I do, even the acoustic ones now.
Is there going to be more music coming out?
There is very soon. I have quite a few songs recorded and ready to go.
Epic.
I'm very... The next one, actually, that I'm releasing, it's called Antidote.
Okay.
Is the next one. It's actually my favorite song on the EP. So
Okay.
I'm very excited for this one. It's one of those songs, too, where, like, it wasn't everyone's favorite on the EP, but you know how you just, like, kind of have to follow your own instinct, and you're kind of just like, no, it's my favorite one, though.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if...
I really like that
Everyone
when-
liked Lala the most.
Really?
Everyone liked
yeah.
Lala the most, and it wasn't, like... It wasn't my favorite in the sense... It's meant to be ironic. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, like the production, like, it's so, like, kind of
Yeah.
more girly than me, because it was
100%,
meant
yeah.
to be ironic. And, like...
It has touches of Lady Gaga in it. I think.
That was a pull. That was
Yeah.
definitely a pull. We wanted it to be very like
And it's
poppy.
that's dancey. And
It was
it's compared to like I just went straight in from the top listening to Shattered. And then I was like, oh, okay, I didn't expect this. And,
Shattered's my only ballad out. So
Yeah.
that would definitely. And then there's one duet on my Spotify that I really
Avril Lavigne.
yes, that's my ex.
Is it really?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's me and my ex. Yes.
Avril Lavigne, I found out today she's Canadian.
She is. She
never
is.
knew
She's she's Canadian. I'm honestly Avril Lavigne again.
Did you go see her
Huge
live?
po-
Did you?
Oh yeah.
You know what Avril came from? Avril is the French for April.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah. There
I
you
did
go.
not know that.
Found that out today.
Oh, I love her. So
I was shocked.
Happy French April.
Avril Lavigne used to go out with the dude from
Chad Kruger.
Chad Kruger. So
Nickelback,
they were
yeah.
the little like Canadian
They were.
Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears back in the day.
They were honestly. I actually know Chad. He's a very nice guy.
I'm sure he is.
He is a very
He's
nice
a cool
guy.
dude actually.
He is
I
very
like
nice,
Chad.
yes.
Like
He's a big Roxy goer.
Is he? Yeah.
Yes, when he's around, he goes to the Roxy.
Let's fucking go.
Yes.
Tell me next time I'll be there. I'll be fucking, hey, come on the podcast.
He's
man.
honestly, he's a really nice guy. It's like it's one of those things where you don't like. It really is like when you meet people who are like really famous, and then you like talk to them, and you kind of forget they're famous because it's like, oh, you're a human.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny what the veil of fame can like make someone look like, and then when you meet them, you're like, oh, you're a human.
you kind of get that they're going to be sound or like just down to earth with the whole like I want to be a rock star. That whole song alone, just they're just salt of the earth.
Oh, they're actually quite down to earth people.
Yeah.
They're really. He lives in like Abbotsford.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like he's a nice guy.
My a friend of a friend, he's a mechanic, and he actually is a mechanic for his boat.
Oh.
It's a yacht.
Oh, that's not. I was gonna say that's not
Yeah.
a boat. I've seen it. I've been to the marina where it's a big. It's not that you can live on it.
Ridiculous.
It's bigger than my apartment.
Yeah.
So that's not
no,
a boat.
It's bigger than 2 apartments together, like
Yeah.
3, 4. It's like a building.
Yeah, when I say boat, I think there's like a little motor on the back of it, and it's like there's like a fishing rod.
No,
That's
this
not
has-
a boat. It's a home on water.
Yeah, 100%.
You need a mechanic.
But I look forward to seeing you in the Roxy, and I look forward to
You better
your,
come
your
out.
music.
You're gonna have to come
100%.
out. I've never seen you out there yet.
100%. Keep a low profile. I do my best work in the shadows. You know how it is.
Okay, Batman.
I don't drink that much because I take tablets for my skin, so I don't drink that much.
Oh.
But when I do, I go wild.
Honestly, probably better for you anyway.
100%.
Drinking is not the best thing in the world. It's poison.
Cheers. We'll just drink
Let's
Guinness
drink our
every now and
poison.
again. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on the
This
show.
has
I
honestly
really,
been
really
lovely,
appreciate
guys. What lovely conversation. Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe to her music and my podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Click all the buttons.
Peace.